Welcome back to the Tracy Take. I am Tyler here with my brother Ryan, and today we are going over the Pittsburgh Steelers selection from our 7-round mock draft. Ryan and I, we went over all 250-something picks, and these will be the Pittsburgh Steelers selections that we will be breaking down. But before we do that, if you like getting Steelers content, be sure to ring that bell to get notified whenever we create more Pittsburgh Steelers videos. We have other Steelers 3-round and 7-round mock drafts planned leading up all the way to the 2024 NFL Draft. Also, if you just like our content as a whole and you want to see this channel keep growing, the easiest way to help us out is by hitting that subscribe button. We are trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of the combine, and any help is greatly appreciated. So we wanted to provide some context on who was still available when they selected. So you can see some of the players selected after the Steelers selection at 20, and even some other players that we feel they could take at this 20th overall spot, and just where they ended up being selected. So I will say before the Senior Bowl, I did not think any interior offensive lineman would go in the first round. Now I'm fairly confident Jackson Powers-Johnson is going to be the first one off the board, almost kind of the Tyler Linderbaum situation, I feel like. I think Tyler Linderbaum was more highly touted immediately after the season. Well, so JPJ, I think he's working his way up for two reasons. One, I thought he played really well at the Senior Bowl. He's clearly, I think, the best overall center, but also just interior offensive lineman. And two, there's not really that many good ones. So if you're going to want to get a guy, it's going to have to be earlier than you probably initially would anticipate.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if you want to look at this while I'm talking, but I believe JPJ, he only has one season at center, and that was part of the reason with him and Tyler Linderbaum. Also, Tyler Linderbaum was an elite wrestler in high school and I believe in college. He also was elite at the center position coming out of college. And JPJ, while he had great tape this year, it was just a 1 year of playing center. And I believe he played guard before that, so not a huge difference, but just a step up, I think, in complexity there. So to me, at the Senior Bowl, watching him, he didn't really make a mistake all week. Like he didn't ever really get beat. He was always in the right spot. He was always making the right blocks. He has good movement skills. He's not an elite athlete, but to be honest, at the center position, you're not really ever going to be pulling in gap schemes. Like I think at worst you have to have quick feet, but not like you don't have to be this blazing athlete at the center position. So I really like what he brings to the table. I think you look at, they went out, they got Broderick Jones last year. This offensive line actually played really, really well for the most part. And going and getting a guy like JPJ that can be the centerpiece of this offensive line for the next 10 years, I think it would be a fantastic move. So
absolutely, especially then too, if you go and get this guy here, and then it's going to make a little bit more sense then for what you do with the next pick as well. And we have Caleb Williams going first overall to the Bears, and that means that somebody had to trade for Justin Fields, and we ended up this time having the Steelers select Justin Fields, and then they traded their 2nd-round pick and their 4th-round pick to the Chicago Bears for Justin Fields. I will say too, we did this mock draft about 2 weeks ago, and we did this before all the talks of Justin Fields being connected to the Steelers. So I will say maybe we started that trend, Ryan. Maybe they are listening to us in our private conversations.
We spoke it into existence.
I know. But in general, though, I honestly really do like this fit. He's a better passer than Kenny Pickett, and he's a much better runner than Mason Rudolph. I think with how well they ran the ball last year with Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren, then I do think kind of with the emergence of George Pickens as a star, and then Deontay Johnson, I feel like is average, is an above-average receiver. He just hasn't really had a quarterback to throw it to him during this entire time. And Pat Freiermuth is his Cole Kmet. I think that it would be a smoother transition, and he would be on a much better team. I think it'd be a win-win for all three parties involved.
Yeah.
Bears get draft capital from Justin Fields. Justin Fields is still on a playoff caliber. I guess the first time he'll be on a playoff caliber team. But then the Steelers, though, I think get their quarterback, and then they can move on or they can decide what they want to do with Kenny Pickett. Honestly, they'll probably keep Mason Rudolph. He's a very serviceable backup. I think they'd probably rather keep Mason Rudolph than Kenny Pickett. That's a separate argument. But if they don't want to go that route, I do think there's a lot of different ways that they could end up going here. Could go offensive tackle here, a double dip at the offensive line, something that they still need to do. I think they could go get a third receiver. As of right now, they don't really have a third receiver, so to say. I think a guy like Xavier Worthy, I think, would fit into that role as well. And then Braden Fisk, I'm I really like the idea, especially when your strength is going to be like just the elite athleticism of one player. This instance, TJ Watt. You go and get another guy that's going to like you bring so much more attention as well. So TJ Watt keeps getting these one-on-one opportunities. I think that would be a great selection here as well. So a lot of different rounds they can go here, but I am starting to fall in love a little bit more with this Justin Fields trade to either the Steelers or to the Atlanta Falcons. To me, I think those are the two teams that are the main competitors for.
Yeah, those make the most sense. I did actually just see a report today that the Bears have received 2 offers for Justin Fields. One was Atlanta. The other one was actually the Las Vegas Raiders. And I think that's an interesting spot. I don't think that place is nearly as ready for a quarterback as the Steelers or the Falcons. So it's going to be really interesting. The report also said that the Bears have not decided whether they're going to draft Caleb Williams yet or not. So they might be waiting for some combine interview confirmation there, I think, to kind of confirm the fact that Caleb Williams is better than Justin Fields right now. So let's go ahead and move on to their next pick. And this is where we have Chris Abrams-Strain, a versatile corner coming to Pittsburgh. I think one of the biggest problems last year was after Minkah Fitzpatrick went down, they didn't really have a whole lot of secondary depth. And this front seven, TJ Watt was in and out of the lineup with injuries. And Alex Highsmith had another good year, but that front seven just wasn't good enough to kind of cover up the lack of talent, I guess, on the back end of the defense. And going and getting a guy like Chris Abrams-Strain that can play inside and outside for you, I think would be a really great addition here. I think probably be more of a nickel in this defense in his first year, but could hopefully develop. Going with Jackson Powers-Johnson in the first round and then trading that second round pick to Justin Fields, you're going to kind of miss that wave of corners in the top 50 picks that are really going to come in and probably make an impact day one. But I think you get a versatile piece here at 84.
Yeah, it's this guy could come in and he compete at minimum, provide depth. But I also then too, you look at the right there. I do feel like all those options are really good as well. Steelers are kind of one of those teams. I think they're going to be best player available as one, especially once they figure that quarterback position. Because other than that, they need to beef up the offensive line, which they've already would have done that with their first pick and potentially even their second pick as well. And so I think that from here, then what we'll see in day 3, it's just going to be just keep finding his best player available. Yeah. So they don't have too many day 3 picks, but go get Maris Lufau, linebacker, then Andrew Coker, address the offensive tackle position, and then Jarius Monroe, cornerback as well. 7th round. We felt maybe double dipping in the cornerback position to just add some good overall depth there. But Steelers, I think once again, they're going to have a winning record. They're going to be in the playoff contention. It's just going to be, can they get that guy to take them to the next level? I think that's where the Justin Fields trade is going to be crucial. If they get him, and if you get JPJ, that now instantly bolsters up that offensive line. I think then they would potentially go tackle as well with that 3rd round pick, depending on who is available. So that's if they go JPJ, Justin Fields, and then tackle. But to be honest, though, I say all that, JPJ might not even make it to 20. He might not even make it out of the top 50.
Yeah. I mean, there's teams that need centers all over the board. So I'm really interested to see what the Steelers do in this draft, because I think they are a team that I think is ready to plug in a quarterback. However, they've been good enough over the last few years that they haven't been able to reach into that top 5 and really snag a guy that they like. And to me, I feel like getting a guy like Bo Nix, while that is a fresh start, I feel like him and Kenny Pickett, that might be a little bit of a lateral step. With that being said, I definitely like Bo Nix more than Kenny Pickett, but that is also I liked Kenny Pickett a little bit at the time when he was drafted. So it's kind of hard to compare that way. So all in all, I think this was a really solid mock draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you thought of this Pittsburgh Steelers 7-round mock draft. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you do differently? And then we will see you guys next time.